Deborah King. My statement is short, and it actually does repeat a little bit of what Marianne has just stated. At the September 3rd City Council meeting, City Manager Robert Hickey stated, "I had a verbal agreement with Tassone, and I believe we had a verbal agreement with OES." At this same meeting, our city attorney presented a supplemental report which stated she received a phone call from the legal department and Paul Tassone's superior, Chief Pazin, at the Office of Emergency Services. Chief Pazin stated he informed Tassone he could not do a background investigation under OES and that they normally do not do that. Both City Manager Hickey and Mayor Cott have made statements at City Council meetings and in the Beacon implying they believe Chief Pazin's words to be not truthful. I find these statements regarding Chief Pazin to be unprofessional and inexcusable. Councilmember Hampton stated facts included Tassone asked Chief Pazin if he could do the investigation. He was told he could do the investigation. City Manager Hickey, Mayor Cott, and Councilmember Hampton continue to insist they believe the background check was conducted under OES, not Tassone's P&K Consulting business. They further stated multiple times that it was all done as a verbal agreement. Not true. 91 days after we submitted a PRA request, this city document shows an email communication between the city manager and Paul Tassone of P&K Consulting. From P&K Consulting to Robert Hickey, subject Dan Dailey, background investigation. Per our discussion on the telephone, my normal consultant fee is $80 to $100 per hour. However, I will agree to complete the investigation for a total of $200. Before I can submit any documents, I will need to obtain a letter from you authorizing me as the consultant you have hired to conduct this investigation. If you are satisfied with this agreement, I will submit an invoice for payment. Respectfully, Paul of P&K Consulting. The response on city letterhead to Paul Tassone from Robert Hickey, city manager. Mr. Tassone has been contracted with the city of Rio Vista to conduct a background investigation on Dan Dailey. This letter is my authority for Mr. Tassone to complete this investigation in accordance with California Government Code Section 1031. This email qualifies as a written agreement between Tassone under P&K Consulting and the city to conduct candidate Dailey's background investigation. Not verbal, not OES, not honesty, not transparency.